How's it going, guys? Today I'm going to show you how to paint the 84 Audi Sport Quattro. Alright, so I've already opened up this car and drilled out the rivets so I can take it completely apart. There's several videos on YouTube that show you how to do that. So we've got the windscreen, the interior, the body, and the base. And now I'm going to swap those wheels out too. Yuck. Okay, here we go. So, using some black Vallejo Air Mecca primer. It's just an acrylic primer. You can use a spray can if you want, but definitely use a primer, not a paint. And we're just going to cover the whole model. I use several thin coats, and you're going to want to wait at least several hours for this to cure. 24 hours would be best, but I think I ended up waiting maybe 6 hours or so and didn't have any trouble. And we're going to do the same thing with the windshield. Alright, so that's dried and cured. So I'm taking some P3 Iostin green, or any other dark green, with a little airbrush flow improver, mixing that up, and give a little test of my paper. And I'm just going to do a really wide stripe down the center of the top, making several passes. I apologize for the bad camera angle. But we'll just use several layers and try to get an even coverage, and also, even as far as the spacing. Just did some on the back and the front. And it does dry darker than when it's wet. So now I'm just kind of going back and forth and trying to get it all even. Now we're switching to the P3 Necrotite green and just mixing that in with the old color, which there was barely any left. And it's going to help make a smooth transition between the two colors. So now I'm focusing more towards the center and leaving just a little bit of that dark green showing on the outer sides. And this will take, several applications as well, because it's very thin paint. So adding some more flow improver, and now some Citadel Flash Gets Yellow into the same pot mix, just to brighten it up a little more. This is really going to make it bright. With this one just staying towards the very center. So it makes a nice gradient, very smooth, especially once it dries. Alright, so then cleaned our airbrush, little flow improver, some Vallejo Hextalicon, which is a dark purple, and we're going to coat the windshield. I take 2 good thin coats to get that purple to show through. And just like before, add a little of a lighter purple mixed in with the original. A little more flow improver. And I'd gotten a little too much in then, so I darkened it back up a little bit. And now we're going to try to leave the top left and bottom right corners the dark purple on each window. It's a little tricky on these smaller ones. And then we'll do a couple coats on each. And then to that, we add some squid pink, brighten it up a little more. Usually the brighter you go, the thinner you need your paint to be, otherwise it will sputter and spatter and speckle. Make sure the tip is clean. And now we're just kind of doing some like diagonal lines. Sort of imitating a reflection. This isn't really realistic, but it's a nice effect. And I always go by the rule of cool. If it looks good, do it. Alright, so I dumped out, there was a lot of paint in there. I dumped it all out, but I didn't clean it out. And now I'm adding some white. And lots of flow improver. So now it's a very, very light lavender color. And we're just going to kind of reinforce those highlights we just did. And after we let this dry, I'm going to take the body and this and give them each a coat of clear gloss varnish, and then 2 coats of matte clear varnish. And then let those dry for several hours, making sure each dries first. And I did go back and darken those corners a little bit with the original purple. Alright, so everything's dried and coated. Now I'm going to paint the parts of the interior that stick out through the hood, and just using a bright silver. Excuse me. And here I've got like a dark navy blue paint, and we're going to do the headlights with that. 2 thin coats. Then I add a little white to it and coat it with that. And then now taking some pure white and just kind of doing some little speckles. Making sure to leave some of that blue. Just make a bunch of little dots. Make sure you don't have too much paint on your brush. And the more times you do it, the brighter it'll look. I painted the tail lights with the same silver that I did the parts on the interior. And here I'm using some Tamiya clear red and doing the tail lights. I've seen some people use a red Sharpie. You could try that too. But the Tamiya clear red leaves a nice gloss, and it does take a long time to dry. Here I've swapped out the wheels with some 10-spoke wheels from the Honda S2000. Now we'll put it together. And I think it turned out pretty good. So I am going to glue on a machine gun to the top that I'd cut off a Mage Knight model. But you can add whatever weapons you want, like I showed before. And here's the final product. So I hope this helped you guys learn how you can fairly easily do a pretty cool custom paint job on your cars. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more car Mad Max modding videos. And hope to see you next time.